When I was invited, I accepted the invitation for this reason. Your district governor was worried that I may not turn up here today after the Royal Thomaian match yesterday. I want to tell her the match was over yesterday and a new day begins today. It was, I must say, an interesting match, and I must commend both the Royal and the St. Thomas's team. In a way, it's also it's a training in leadership and a test of leadership for the captains of both sides as well as those who will be playing next year. How do you prepare for a match? How do you work together with your coach? How do you try to win the match, and how do you have to prevent losing a match? This is what you have to go into. Well, yesterday was a decisive day. Instead of being a draw as usual, Royal Thomaian matches, there was a outcome. As for the Thomaians, they have to study why they lost, why Royal won, what are the weaknesses in your strategies, and how can you win the DSN Naka Cup next year. So that itself is a test in leadership. For the Royal College, and especially his captain, it's another test. Having lost many matches, first, how do you prevent a defeat? And secondly, how do you win? So instead of looking at how to prevent a defeat, he decided to go for victory. And it was good leadership. I must commend him. And he turned a situation in which Royal was losing all matches into a victory in the final encounter. Now, I am also trying to my attempt is also to do what the captain of the Royal College cricket team has done. Last July, I was asked to take over the country. And at that time, as you know, there was a shortage of petrol, there was a shortage of fertilizer, there was a shortage of food, there was a shortage of everything. We had no money. We couldn't make our payments. It was a difficult task. It was like the Royal team which had lost most of the matches. And many thought that we won't be able to come out of it. So far, in the last 7 months or so, been able with my team to stabilize the situation. There's fuel now, there's electricity, there's fertilizer, and by April there'll be enough of rice and other food stuff. And we are now in a situation we will no longer be declared a bankrupt nation, but a nation that can restructure its debts. That will happen in the next few days. So like the captain of the Royal team, I also have to perform the same function. How do we turn this economy around? Now what we are doing at the moment and the results of the IMF board of directors only gives us a breathing space where they will say that we are no longer bankrupt and that we can restructure the debt. So all the monies that we had to pay this year, we will be given at least another, I hope, 10 years to repay it. In the meantime, there will be new debts. We have to borrow money because all our foreign exchange earnings for a year is not sufficient to meet all our needs. So we have what we call a balance of payment deficit, where our export earnings, our foreign earnings are less than the money we have to spend for all our needs that we have to purchase or obtain from abroad. So this is the long term. Secondly is how do we stabilize the rupee? The rupee has now gone up to over 300. Once we have this agreement with the IMF, the rupee will come down, but it won't come down to 200 or 185. That has to happen gradually. So we have a period of stabilization, and that is 4 years. With the IMF, we have agreed that the budget will not be a deficit, that the budget will have a surplus by 2026, and that we will then be able to pay back the monies we borrow. Now that is not a very good situation. Because once we stabilize the economy and we can restructure the debts, we must also find means of paying off all our debts and coming to a situation where we have a surplus in the country, that every year, like Japan or Singapore or Germany or Korea, that at the end of the day, we will have a surplus. Our foreign exchange earnings will exceed our requirements for the time being. So that is the next stage. So to win this match, to win this encounter, stabilizing the economy is not enough. You must then make the economy grow. And unless you make the economy grow, we will go down again. So when I went to Royal Primary, we were the second most prosperous nation in Asia. First Japan, second Sri Lanka. Today every other country has overtaken us. Now I want, as far as I am concerned, my aim now is also not only to lay the groundwork to restructure our debt, to stabilize our economy so that we can repay our debt in 10 years' time, but to build a new economy in which we will be prosperous and we will be able also to become a developed economy, giving a better future for those who will be living in the next 40, 50 years. Now for that I need a team. When I lay that down, I need a team for that match. That is going to be the big match. Are we going to make it? Are we going to develop this country? Or are we going to let it slide? For that game, who's my team? My team is going to be all of you all. What we will lay down now is a 25-year plan. A 25-year plan. So by 2049, we'll be a prosperous nation. We'll be as well off as people in Malaysia or the people in some of the European countries, that we will have no debt, and more than that, each of you will be having at least earning a few $1,000s a month, or maybe more. If you take the next 25 years, all of you, the oldest here will be 45. You are not even 50. So it is your future that we have to talk of. Unless I stabilize the economy, we can't develop as a country to become a prosperous society. Once we stabilize the economy, then we can go ahead to become a prosperous country. Now, some of you are thinking of going abroad for education. I understand some difficulties of getting to the universities here or the problems you face inside universities. Some of you are thinking of going abroad and not being in Sri Lanka. Some of you want to go out and work and come back. All I want to say to all those who are thinking of going abroad is don't abandon the country. In the next 2 years, you will see the country developing, and then you will see that you have a future. So certainly go out, certainly study, but remember to come back. Because this is a 25-year match. This is not like the Royal Thomaian, which is played in 3 days, or some of the other school matches that are played in 2 days. This is a 25-year match. Second innings will be much longer than the first innings. First innings is only 4 years. Second innings may be 21 years after that. So this is the game that we have to play, that all of you here have to play. All of your age in this country has to play. Now that game we must play to win. We must become the most prosperous country in our region. We must not have poverty. We must have employment. We must have a green economy. We must have a digitalized economy. We must be modern in our technology, modern in our thinking. And there has to be a very marked change in the way the country is governed. That is what you call a system change. We must have that system change thinking of the interactors here. What is the country you want? What is the society you want? What are the changes you want? In that case, you have to participate here in building that country, because you will finally take over leadership. But some of you will, in different ways, every one of you will help to build the country and hopefully run the country. And some of you, I hope, will be able as Rotarians to come and make the speech that I have been making today.